Greetings, everyone. This is Eric Stewart from the Bad Rhino Local Podcast, and today I'm joined with Greg Lingo, who's the president of Cornell Ventures and Rockwell Development Group. So how you doing, Greg?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on, Eric.
Absolutely. Great to have you here. And Greg, let's kick it off and tell our listeners more about Rockwell Development Group and what you guys do over there.
Yeah, Rockwell Development Group, we're primarily real estate developers from the Delaware beaches to the Jersey beaches, up to Pottstown and out to kind of Princeton. So really the main counties around the city of Philadelphia.
Gotcha. And I was looking into your personal history too. And you've been in that industry for a long time, throwing it all the way back to 2007 when you started Cornell Homes. So tell me about that whole process of starting there and then kind of where you're at today and how that kind of
I initially started working for a company, a public home builder, kind of right out of college in the mid 90s, and worked there up until around 2006, 2007. Had a moment where I was fired, and it was a real interesting inflection point for me because I didn't have. It kind of caught me off guard, and I had to adjust right then to kind of starting up my own business. And best thing that ever happened to me was getting fired. Quite frankly, it was life changing what happened, and really gave me a good perspective on entering and starting up a business. And since then, we've been able to kind of branch out, not just real estate development, but we now have a mortgage company, professional mortgage advisors. We have title business, land consultants. We have started a rental business where we have a couple hundred homes that are in our rental portfolio. And then we've also, we're starting a senior living project in Wayne called Oak Hill at St. David's. And we have a self-storage building for CubeSmart that we're building in Alden, Pennsylvania. And then we've also branched out a little bit into the entertainment industry. I wrote and produced a film called Last Call that was on Showtime recently. And we're still looking at other ventures on the entertainment side. But the thing that's in Westchester and kind of closest to your customer base there and fan base is our Artillery Brewing location there on Granite Alley, which is really, if you just take Gay Street straight out to the end, cross over Hannum, we're in that alley in the back there. And then we just opened a second location in Drexel Hill for Artillery Brewing, and it's really just gone great. The beer is exceptional. Food's really strong. It's really been received well.
Yeah, definitely. I've been there personally a few times, and I know the person that kind of owns that, and it is a cool atmosphere for anyone listening to go check out Artillery Brewing for sure in both those different locations. And can you dive in a little bit about what you did for Artillery? Like, do you guys own the property and they rent it off you, or how does that kind of look for the?
Yeah, that's a good question. So Mike Lovelace and I, Mike's one of the there was two founders. Mike and I went to college together and we're buddies. So we initially were investors, and then eventually we helped acquire the locations for them, and then have continued to help kind of just grow the brand. Mike continues to be the brand ambassador, and he does a really great job of getting us exposure. And then my company kind of helps with the managing a little bit more of the back office type stuff for the company. But it's really exciting. It's a tough business. It's a tough business to make money, and we really have a really good team that's turned this into, I think, finest breweries in the Philadelphia market.
Definitely. So you got the commercial side, but then you also have the residential side. You got communities in the Philadelphia suburbs and then some located down the shore too. Can you tell me a little bit about those different locations, what you guys have available, and any new spaces you guys are building as well?
Yeah, sure. We're in right now the old Edgemont Country Club on Westchester Pike in Edgemont Township. We're building the Ventry community. We're down to the last 10 home sites there. That's been an exciting project. Beautiful this time of the year when the leaves start changing, kind of backing up to Ridley Creek State Park is just beautiful. And then around the corner from that in Ellis Preserve, we're building a townhome community there, Newtown Walk, calling it. And we still have about 30 homes left there. Great community, walkable, kind of close to everything at the intersection of Route 3, which is Westchester Pike and 252. Then we have a few shore projects. We have a beachfront condominium project in Brigantine called Oceanside at Brigantine. We have a bayfront community in Brigantine that's going to be starting up here into the spring called Rum Point. And then we have a community called, we're calling it, the location is the address, is the name, which is 29th and Dune in Avalon, which is a high-end luxury condominium project on top of a commercial retail tenants.
Jeez. So, yeah, I mean, obviously you have a lot going on, Greg, and this is a question I've asked a bunch of other people that like either are leaders of companies or owners of companies. And how do you manage your time effectively? Like, what's your strategy just going into like a week? Do you lay it out, or do you kind of let the wind take you and kind of play it by ear?
Yeah, I think Harvard Business Journal did a article years ago about kind of the most successful business people, and they were all different types of people, different races, ethnicities, males, females. Some had military backgrounds, some had college, some didn't have any. And I think the one common denominator that they found was that the people lay out and attack their day. So, we lay out a game plan for the week, for the month, for the day, and try to get as much accomplished as you can.
Business owners and marketing professionals in the Philly area, Bad Rhino takes the overwhelm out of digital marketing. With tailored digital marketing services, from social media management to SEO and PPC advertising, our expert team navigates the complexities of the digital ad space for your business. Let Bad Rhino lead you to success. Visit badrhinoinc.com and let's take your business to new heights. Bad Rhino, we do digital marketing so you don't have to.
For Rockwell Homes, you guys also do renovations as well for residential.
We do. We have a really thriving renovation business that is headquartered on the main line, but also does projects in Cape May County. So we've kind of have a shore component to that we're calling Rockwell Coastal. And again, most of our customers are coming from Pennsylvania suburbs of Philadelphia, but really great business that helps kind of design build for customers. It's really designed for people that love their address but hate their house. They don't want to move, but they want to make some improvements to their house. And Rockwell Custom has done a really nice job of kind of filling that void in the market.
Nice. Well, let's shift gears here a little bit. And I know you hit on Artillery Brewing already, but the thing I wanted to bring up for sure is the movie that you helped write and produce.
Yep. So that's the movie was called Last Call. I was lucky enough to get a great cast. It started with getting a really good production team, great director Paolo Pilati, and then the first couple actors that we got on board, Jamie Kennedy and I had grown up together and are friends. He's in the film. Jeremy Piven from Entourage is in. Bruce Dern from Nebraska, two-time Oscar nominee. Kathy Moriarty, also an Oscar nominee back when she was in Raging Bull. Taryn Manning's in it, Zach McGowan. So really just a great cast. And the story was, during the period that I mentioned earlier where I was getting fired from a company, I had talked to Jamie and some other buddies and said, hey, we have all these friends we grew up with that are nuts and that are interesting and that are great people, complicated, so wouldn't it be great if we just kind of weave some of those stories together into a story? And that's kind of what Last Call is. It's it's really about friendships and the bonds that you create as a child and kind of develop into adulthood, and into adulthood, those relationships get strained. They get more difficult. Sometimes they get better. And this movie kind of talks to that. And we also have the neighborhood as a prominent character in the film. Really just kind of, I think on the lower side of the socioeconomic scale, the neighborhood has a profound impact on your development as a person. And I know I experienced that growing up. So we wanted to kind of play homage to the neighborhood that we grew up with and try to replicate it the best we could on the big screen.
Right. So in the movie, it does mention that it's a Philadelphia neighborhood, but what neighborhood exactly were you guys trying to model it off of?
Well, I named it Darby Heights.
Yeah.
I had grown up in Upper Darby and Upper Darby School District. The school district's made up of kind of Upper Darby. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
So, in the film, we named the town Darby Heights, and I grew up in Upper Darby. In Upper Darby School District, the school district's made up really of Upper Darby, Drexel Hill, and Clifton Heights. So I kept Darby in it. I mixed Heights in there, so kind of combining Upper Darby and Clifton, and then the initials of Darby Heights matches the initials of Drexel Hill. So I kind of was able to fit those three neighborhoods together. And there were neighborhoods that I kind of grew up in and around. The idea, though, really is just kind of a blue collar town that again produces a variety of different types of people, but good, solid people.
Yeah, and for anyone listening who hasn't checked out the movie yet, it's basically about a real estate developer who returns to an old Philly neighborhood and decides if he wants to save his family bar. So, Greg, is that something that you actually did when you did get fired? You came home. Does your family have a bar, or is this?
No, I named the bar after a buddy's bar that's on Westchester Pike, Callahan's Pub. Mm-hmm. But no, I hadn't owned bars previously when I was a kid, but. It was more so just kind of the importance of the bar for us growing up. We didn't have shore houses, and our parents worked. I can tell you, my dad worked so that he could provide for us, and he could go to the bar on Fridays. So, and I think that was common, that you just kind of worked, and that was your refuge. That was your shore. That was kind of where everything kind of revolved around. The local bar, not in a bad way, in a good way, and so that's kind of what we tried to depict with the Callahan's Pub that's in the movie Last Call.
Yeah, it's funny because as I kind of mentioned before this podcast, like I grew up in Delco too, and I can totally relate to that. It's like Friday, you go to the local bar and just kind of hang out. It's kind of like your dad or your mom works all week to kind of get there, and then Sunday you go to church. And you go over your grandmother's for Italian, like breakfast or Italian dinner at the end of the day. And it's kind of that culture that gets built up in Delco that everyone kind of knows and kind of can relate to it, right? You wake up Sunday morning, you're like, all right, go Birds, go Phillies and all that. And it's cool to see that kind of encapsulated in a movie.
Yeah, exactly. Now I would say that the movie should relate to people that aren't necessarily from Delco, in the sense that it's really about this character that's gone off and become successful, and he's still drawn back into his town that he grew up in. So he's drawn back to his friends that he grew up with, even though he now runs in different circles. And it's kind of how those two different, how the main character, Jeremy Piven, kind of reconciles those two different worlds that he's straddling.
Absolutely. And everyone can relate to that. But Greg, I appreciate you taking the time to do this podcast with me. I'm going to give you the floor here to shout out any information where people can check out about Cornell Ventures and Rockwell Development Group.
Great. Thank you so much. We're rockwellcustom.com and cornellventures.com are our two websites. We have some exciting businesses that we're starting up in addition to artillerybrewing.com, where you can find kind of where to get our beers, where to sit down for dinner and enjoy some of our beers. We also have an exciting restaurant bar in Drexel Hill called Station Hat, so stationhat.com. And I really think that what's great about what we're doing is we're kind of redeveloping areas. I've focused my development company on taking existing properties and kind of making them better, much like our Rockwell custom team renovates and makes homes better for customers. We're trying to do that in whole neighborhoods, and that's one of our big focuses of kind of this urban suburban infill location, making it, leaving it better than how we received it. So it's a big focus of ours. But I really thank you for the time, Eric.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. And for anyone listening, check out the links in the description. Check them out. And Greg, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I appreciate you coming on.
Take care.